Okay, so we're talking about the top mistakes that you make in youth that you regret later in life. Number one was mastering credit. Number two, failing to master credit. Failing to master credit is one of the top mistakes, and it's the first mistake, I would say, that is made in your youth that you regret later in life. Financial mistakes that you make that you regret later in life. The next one was looking for a job versus managing entrepreneurship. Now, I'm not saying don't look for a job. I'm not saying don't get that law degree and go find you a job working in a law firm. But I'm also saying figure out other ways to use that law degree. Figure out other ways to monetize that law degree. Figure out other ways to take that law degree and create some additional streams of income by perhaps becoming an arbiter for your local court system, a mediator, starting a online business, teaching people the legal things that you know how to do, doing classes, workshops, teaching our young men how not to get shot if they get pulled over, how to behave, how to act. You know, there are so many things that you could do with that law degree. There are so many things you could do with that teaching degree, with that medical degree, if you go to the military. And I'm not just talking about academic degrees. If you become a mechanic, if you learn how to build houses, if you're a carpenter, painter, whatever it is that you do and you look for the job, I am also saying figure out ways to master how to monetize that thing. And I'm going to say this one last time because this really gets to me. Forget everybody who says everybody's not supposed to be an entrepreneur. What? Come on now. So what you're saying is everybody's not supposed to be free. Everybody is not supposed to try to figure it out. Everybody's not supposed to have multiple streams of income. Because if you manage multiple streams of income, I don't care if they are streams of income from, money that you're earning in interest versus money that you're earning in a franchise that you own or money, whatever it is, you've got to use those entrepreneurial skills to keep all of that stuff together. Okay. So not me, not today, not now, not ever. I say everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. And if anybody tells you that you shouldn't, honey, I say, look the other way. Now, if you try and fail, that's fine. Russell Simmons says you can't fail until you quit. So keep trying. And more importantly, get in class. All right. So get in class. I have a whole multi-year program called the Entrepreneurs Academy, where you learn everything from just how to organize your mind, how to identify who you are in life, who you are in business. What is your top priority, your 60-day goal, your daily activities, managing your business credit, trademarking, copyright, setting up your business, running your LLC. I've got so many classes, how to build multiple streams of income, how to stop living check to Monday, profit planning, how to make money in your business, social media management. Everything you want in terms of how to be an entrepreneur is in a class. All right. Now, I have undergraduate degrees, and I was lucky, very blessed. At Northwestern, I studied economics and math. At Loyola, I studied business and finance. So I got the best of both worlds. And so I've got a conglomerate of financial skills. But I'm telling you right now, this is not the skill set that is going to help you to become an entrepreneur, right? So people who have degrees, academic degrees, are not necessarily great business people because the skill set that you need to be an effective entrepreneur, you don't necessarily learn that in your business classes in college, okay? Now, you may learn the law of supply and demand and economics and so on and so forth, but how you apply that and how you actually make that real is a whole nother game. Okay, that's another story. All right. So the top mistakes you make in youth that you regret later in life. The next one is saving for retirement. Okay. So you might be thinking while you're 20, oh, I don't care about that. I mean, that's what I thought. I didn't care about retirement. I was like, by the time I retire, I will have made so many millions of dollars it won't even matter. Yeah, I made millions of dollars, but I lost it all too because I didn't have any financial sense. Okay. So you want to save for retirement and you want to start now when you're 10, when you're 5. Why? Because the harvest is here and the time is now, and it is your season to win. So we're talking about the top mistakes that you make in youth, the top money mistakes you make in youth that you regret later in life. And I wasn't going to talk about this one, but I'm going to throw it in there. Let me just go backwards for a second. One is mastering credit, failing to master credit, because when you are young, that's the best time you start out with all the points. Remember in school, you had a teacher in school that said everybody starts out with an A. If you don't do your work, then points get subtracted. Well, that's kind of how it is if you start out properly with mastering your credit. You can start out with an A, and you don't have to have any points subtracted if you start out the right way. So number one was failing to master credit. Number two was looking for a job versus managing entrepreneurship. Number three is saving for retirement. This is huge. This is huge. This is huge. Listen, if you just start with $50 a month when you are 20, and you put that money in the right instrument, financial instrument. And in my class, How to Invest in the Stock Market, which is one of the classes in the Entrepreneurs Academy, I teach how you should approach looking for your the funds for your 401k. And if you don't have a 401k at your job, then your solo 401k. And if you do have a 401k at your job and you still have multiple streams of income and you want to save more money, or you don't have any other instruments, then starting your own mutual fund, putting money into your mutual fund. And I talk about the 4 types of funds that you need and how to search for them and how to choose the best ones. I will deal with that in a whole nother session. But for today, if you follow the steps, history has shown over time, without fail, that you will win. So if you put away $50 a month, in 12 years, you will have in 30 years, $50 a month in 30 years, you will have $174,000. That's at 12% interest. At 15% interest, you would have $346,000. And at 20% interest, if your investment is earning 20%, an average of 20% over time, then you will have $1.1 million. That's just with $50 a month. Okay? Now imagine if you double that. Imagine if you triple that. Imagine when you start making more money, when you go from making $0 as a student or as a young person to making your first $50,000 and then getting a raise to $70,000 and then getting a raise to $150,000. Instead of buying new clothes, new shoes, a new car, and a bigger everything, a bigger house. Yes, get the car, but do you have to get a new one? Get the house, but do you have to buy a bigger one? Instead of doing that, you could put some of that money away, and guess what? You can start to see a future for yourself. Why? Because the harvest is here and the time is now. It's your season to win. Yes, the harvest is here and the time is now. It is your season to win. We are talking about the top financial mistakes made in youth that you regret later in life. And yes, saving for retirement, $50 a month. Okay, $50 a month, 30 years later, if you start when you're 20, when you're 50, there'll be $174,000 sitting there. Now, you may not think $174,000 is a lot of money, but most people I know, people who are out here in the world, most people don't have $174,000. Most 50-year-olds are still trying to figure out how they're going to start their retirement, because our generation did not get the benefit of going to school, getting an education, and getting a job and working on that job for 30 or 40 years and then retiring with a pension. That didn't happen for our generation. That the baby boomers, that's the last group that was able to do that in the masses. Okay, our generation, honey, we fickle. We work in one job, another job, then the jobs are fickle too. If a job can replace you with a computer program, it will. Do you remember parking attendants used to be at all of the parking lots all over the world? And now you can't find a human being there at all. All right. So we do not need to sit and watch this happen to us again. Even if you are now even if you're now considered to be beyond your youth, if you're 45, start now. If your life expectancy is 90, that means you still have another 30 years so that by the time you're 75, you've still got it. So youth is relative. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, man, I messed up, it's too late, I'm only 50, well, you might live to 90. And that means you still got another 40 years to get it right. And if you do it right for 20 years, those last 20 years, you can live with some sense of financial peace and overall financial dignity. All right. And not have to worry about that. So the one thing that I wasn't going to talk about that I am going to talk about, one of the mistakes that you make in your youth, financial mistakes that you regret later, is dating the wrong person. Dating the wrong person can mess you up for the rest of your life. Dating the wrong person, being in a relationship, getting in a stronghold, a soul tie, being so connected to somebody, a narcissist who is abusive, mentally, emotionally, physically, is out of the question. Physically abuse is just simply out of the question. But what I need you all to understand is that emotional abuse and mental abuse is just as bad, if not more so, than physical abuse. So being in the wrong relationship will stunt your financial growth. Being in the wrong relationship will stunt, yes, your mental, emotional, and sometimes even your physical growth. There are people who die because their hearts are broken in these bad relationships. All right. So who you choose can determine if you lose. All right. And who you choose can affect your mental capacity for understanding business. It can affect your mental capacity for understanding how to grow. It can affect your mental capacity for understanding and being able to make the moves that you need to make to pivot. So don't sleep on that. Do not sleep on that. And guess what? Even if you made some mistakes, you can still get to the next level because the harvest is here and the time is now. It's your season to win. So what is the action of the day and the word of the hour? Let's start with the word of the hour. The word of the hour is train up a child in the way that he or she should go, and they will not depart from it. Now, do we have situations where you tell your children what to do and they do the opposite? Yes. Do you have situations where you tell your child what to do and they act like they're not even speaking the same language? Not only do they do the opposite, they're not even in the universe that you were in. Yes. But that does not absolve you from teaching. That does not absolve you from modeling. And that does not absolve you from taking action on what it is that you know when you get the blessing, when you get the opportunity to know it. Let me tell you something. Knowledge is a blessing. When you go from not knowing to knowing, you have been blessed. When you go from being in the dark to coming in the light, you have been blessed. When you go from not understanding to understanding, you have been blessed. So once you have been blessed, bless somebody else. And if you are the child that needs to be trained, because let's just face it, some of us don't have mentors. Some of us don't have anybody in our lives teaching us and telling us what to do. If there were times in my 30s where I had less money in my 30s as a grown woman with degrees, I had less money in my 30s than I had when I was 9 years old. So I was technically an adult, but I felt like a kid. And what I needed to do is I needed to go back to the state of learning. I needed to go back. I needed to submit myself. I needed to become younger. I needed to become less molded in my thinking. I needed to start over with the excitement and the wonderment of a child. I needed to understand what it meant to budget and manage my credit. And I needed to understand how the choices that I made were going to impact the future that I saw for myself. The Bible even says to become as a child and learn as a child. And there are instances where people who are new to the game, because they are true to the game, then they can master the game. Those who've been doing it forever, it's like, well, I'm an adult in this. You know, it could be in your business, your career, your money, or whatever it is, but you're not acting like one because you're messing up. So guess what? Knowledge is not power until it is put into action. And I want to see you take action. Why? Because it's your season. Don't look for the harvest. The harvest is here and the time is now. And if you do this thing right, it is your season to win.
Lynn Richardson's Entrepreneurs Academy is where you literally learn to run your life like a business. Master financial coach Lynn Richardson and her team of experts offer master classes, webinars, live trainings, and other tools and resources to help you start, make over, build, and maintain a profitable and relevant business. Learn how to start a home-based business, how to write a book, how to hire your kids, how to be a real estate investor, how to build business credit, how to invest in the stock market. Try 21 Days to Financial Freedom. Join the Home Buyers Club, the 700 Credit Club, and other premium services, classes, and career training. As a member of the Entrepreneurs Academy, you will have access to the Members Portal with webinars, coaching tools, replays, and masterclasses. So join Entrepreneurs Academy today and be on your way to financial freedom. For more information about Lynn Richardson's books, webinars, and masterclasses, go to asklynn.org.